All right, I wanted to do a quick video here. Just a thought that crossed my mind while I was getting ready to go to work today, and that is the fact that vagina, in essence, has absolutely no value. Why do I say that? Well, vagina is like buying a brand new car, and driving it off the lot. It only depreciates, and unless you have someone who is what they provide as more than just for sexual pleasure. Unless they provide something more than that, they essentially bring no value to you. Now, your assessment of what value is could vary. Maybe sex is valuable to you, but the reality of the situation is that the end result of participating in vagina that has no value is that you as a man increases the value of vagina when you don't value what you bring to the table and think that whatever you do it for the vagina. Through my experiences and through some hard lessons learned, a lot of the females that I messed with prior to meeting my wife, honestly brought absolutely nothing to the table whatsoever other than their vagina. Now, I could be honest in this assessment because I'm just an honest kind of guy, which sometimes gets me in trouble because I just speak my mind and I don't really hold back how I feel about a situation. Now, in my experiences, my desperation, I don't want to say desperation, but my thirst for dipping my stick in some instances cost me a little, in some instances cost me a lot. It all just varied based on the person that was attached to the vagina. Now, if you meet a person and not only do you click physically or the visual of the person, whether they look good or not, if you click beyond that, that's what assesses the value. Now, the problem is that in this American society, vagina has been given an artificial inflated price that doesn't really exist. And when going back to the video I made about the threat of black male confidence, when when a man comes, especially a black man, comes to the conclusion of you're not going to simp for the vagina, you then become a threat because at that point you can wake up those who are simping for it. Now some are so deep in it they're a lost cause, but the reality of the situation is that vagina has no value whatsoever, especially to a man. Vagina can only enrich the woman if she's using the vagina to do so. If she is using the vagina to build something with that man, then only then and only then does the relationship be enriched. No one individually is being enriched. The man is not being enriched. The woman is not necessarily being enriched, but the relationship is being cultivated into something valuable that can then bring forth something that is even more valuable, which is a legacy, which is the birth of a child or children. Most women nowadays, especially in the Western world, have absolutely no concept of what that means, especially within the black community, amongst black females. That whole notion of we can come together and together we can be gods in essence, because you are bringing forth a life, you are creating a life and bringing it forth. So we most black couples don't think along that lines. They think along the lines of at the end of a nut bust, possibly the end of an orgasm. That's it. That's as far as the thought process goes. And so when you grow up around that kind of mentality of vagina worship, you in essence don't ever really get the true understanding that by your worship of it, you give it value. That whichever you desire, you give it value. So if you're taught to basically value vagina over your own personal interests, you give that vagina more value than what it's actually worth. So if you are like me, you are a father of a son, and maybe you got your son in a manner that you weren't very happy about, but nonetheless, she brought forth the child, and now you're doing your best. Warn your sons. Tell them. Do not fall into that bull crap that they try to make you feel like their vagina is the best thing in the world. Because at the end of the day, whether it's loose vagina, tight vagina, in between vagina, deep vagina, shallow vagina, it all results in at the end result of a nut bust. So you gotta pick a good character that maybe that vagina is attached to. If anything that I said makes sense, didn't make sense, understand what I just said at the end of this video. Who you pick to be with, procreate with, have sex with, make sure that they have a value beyond their vagina. Do not pick a female who just values the fact that she has a fat ass. Don't value a female that I think I may have messed that up, but basically don't value a female that has a fat ass. Don't value a female that just always so worried about how cute she look in the face. Because at the end of the day, if you don't have a female that's about substance, then you will end up paying more for something that has absolutely no value in the long run, but takes value from you. Hopefully this made sense, and I'm sure somebody's gonna have something to say, because that's usually what happens, because trolls ain't got a life. But as men, we have to understand, and it took me many years until I met my wife to really understand that it is more important to pick a woman who, one, thinks about the future, cares about her body enough that she's not going to just let any random dude give her a baby. That's the most important thing. If you are sleeping with a woman and just randomly say, I think I'm going to nut in you. Just randomly say that. If she's all willy-nilly with it, dog, pull out and bounce. Just pull out and bounce. Jerk off in the bathroom, whatever you got to do, get out. Because she doesn't value her body. Because chances are she's trying to get value from you. And the way that the system is set up to help her or assist her in getting that value from you. So you need a quality person that if you want to procreate, you got to make sure that the person you procreating with values themselves. That when you know they value themselves, then you know they're not going to give you a random baby, because they're going to take precautions. If they're not ready for it, they're going to take precautions to not have that child. And that's a person that shows you that they value themselves over their vagina. All right, I got to get ready to go to work, so peace. I'm out. Like, share, subscribe. I'm out.